Let's get back to Mike Dunleavy Jr. and his talk on the Dubs Talk podcast on NBC Sports Bay Area with Dalton Johnson and Monty Poole. He talked about contract extensions for Steve Kerr and Klay Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, those are guys we definitely want to get locked up moving forward. Been a big part of what we've done here, and I think they can still contribute, especially Klay on the court and Steve, one of the best, if not the best coach in the league. So high priority level in terms of getting those guys done. We'll see. I mean, obviously there's always a financial component and guys want to be here and all that, but we greatly value them and hope we can work things out.
Has there been much conversation on both or either?
Yeah, I don't give a whole lot in terms of what goes on in between the walls at Chase Center, but we've had good conversations, and I think we'll continue to do that. And optimistic that we can work things out for both those guys.
He's already into full GM mode.
Yeah,
I was hearing these cuts earlier with Steiny and Evan on the Steinmetz and Guru show, but just listen to Mike Dunleavy Jr. He's in his bag now in terms of like non-answer answers and cliches and dodgeball.
Yeah.
You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a question. Mm-hmm. He's brought his A game to the table.
I think maybe it just comes, you talk about being a parent and some things just come as soon as you become a parent. I think once you become a GM, it just comes to you. Now you get it. Once you become a pro athlete, the athlete speak just comes to you. A coach speak, it just comes to you once you get to that position because he's got it down.
He does. I mean, in terms of, what he answered was basically, yes, they would love to extend him, but we're going to keep it in-house. And, talks aren't necessarily ongoing, but we feel confident that, we're going to get it done. And basically, he spent 41 seconds in that answer saying nothing, but it feels like they want to keep these guys, and they will keep these guys, but, we're not going to let you inside Chase Center and give you too much about the process.
Right. And even after he took the job with Jordan Poole, I mean, even he said something to the effect of he's going to be a part of this team or something he said when he first got asked about it. And technically, right, they never lie because technically they're never wrong. I mean, Jordan Poole got traded and he still contributed by whatever Chris Paul contributes because of Jordan Poole's contributions to the team and his ability to get that contract. You were able to get back Chris Paul. So even when on the outside, you would say, well, they didn't tell the truth there or they stretched the truth. Technically, we never said he'd be on the roster. We said he'd help.
Right. And he's not wrong. I mean,
he's not wrong.
He would help had he been on the roster, but he never said that, he would be on the roster. And so that's just where, when they come back at him and try to question him for either lying or telling half-truths, it's not the case because he's able to defend himself based on what he exactly said or didn't say. But
there you go.
I wonder how fans are feeling about these two possible extensions, 888-957-9570. Do you feel better if Klay gets extended now? Would you want Steve Kerr to not go into a lame duck year? And I don't think that it's necessarily a typical lame duck year because Steve Kerr has won 4 titles. So there's not the sense that, to me anyway, that Steve Kerr is going to go elsewhere. It's either Steve wants to coach and they pay him, or Steve decides he wants to do something else.
Yeah, I can't see. Very similar to Klay. These guys have been together for so long, starting somewhere new. Doesn't matter if it's basketball, the NBA, whatever you're talking about. When you've been somewhere for as long as they've been, it's really hard. And specifically when you make the money that they have and you don't have to do anything else and you're accomplished, it's really hard to think, all right, I'm just going to start over for really no reason other than what? I mean, if we're making an argument for who would be more motivated to try to prove whatever they feel like they have to prove somewhere else, that answer would be Klay Thompson. That would clearly be Klay. I don't think Steve Kerr has anything to prove to anybody. Right. But Klay, if he doesn't get the extension and maybe has a down year and the Warriors, again, because of their money situation, they offer this, but the Pistons or the Magic offer him a better bag and he's able to get more money somewhere else and he says, you know what? I want to at least show people for a couple years that I still got it. It's going to be heat check Clay all day, down in Disney World, whatever it is. I still don't see either of them wanting to start all over.
Yeah, and starting all over for Steve Kerr to me makes less sense than it does for Klay Thompson, because Steve Kerr has done so much here, and I don't get the sense that he needs to be a basketball lifer. It feels to me like he would want to go out with Steph Curry, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
When you're coaching a player of that caliber, a guy who's won at that level, one of the greatest to ever do it, it feels to me like if Steve Kerr wanted to keep coaching, he would keep coaching here. Now, the other part of it is the Bob Myers angle, where Bob just got to a point where he didn't want to do it anymore. And maybe it was because of Joe Lacob, maybe the pressure, maybe the fact that his young family is growing up, before his eyes and maybe passing him by, maybe a number of those factors all together. But for me, I don't get the sense that Steve Kerr would want to try and go out and do it again somewhere else. So we'll see what happens with the Golden State Warriors. Interesting comments from Mike Dunleavy Jr.